Alright, YouTube, what's going on? I got my glasses on, so this is going to be a technical video. I'm just kidding. No, it is going to be a technical video. The main reason for this video is for my brother ZACK, man. He's one of my hometown guys, and kind of helping him out. He's a newbie on the... He's not a newbie to Nitro. He's had some pretty cool planes and things like that. But he's a newbie to on-road stuff, truggies, buggies, monster trucks, all that. So he's doing a few upgrades to his 8T. He's a newbie. He started out with an 8T and he wants to upgrade a few things, and I get it. I was the same way, man. Normally we wait till something breaks and then we upgrade it, but he wants to upgrade a few things, and that's cool. I don't blame him. I did the same thing, as y'all know, on my 8T. He did run into his basketball goal, though, and trashed his shock and his front A-arm. So I kind of schooled him through that, but I'm going to help him out on that as well. He's also got questions. He's replacing his servos, which I don't blame him. The Spectrum servos that come in the 8T are junk. The steering servo is actually not too bad. It's about a $80 servo, but the throttle and brake servo is like a $25 servo. I think it's $19.99 online. So he's upgrading those, I believe, to Servos, which is great. And remember, ZACK, Servos, if one goes out on you, you go online to the Servos website, to their warranty claims department. You'll fill out a form. They'll give you a number that you put on the package. You send it back to them. Up to 1 year, they'll replace that servo for you. So, but try not to get them wet. The only times I really had issues with Servos servos is when they got wet or moist. But we all know how to clean our whips. All the electronics come out before you do anything, so we shouldn't have that type of issues anyway. Every now and then you'll get a bad one that'll go bad on you because of endpoints not being correct and things like that. But that's one of his questions, and we're gonna deal with today are endpoints. He's put new servos in. He wants to make sure his endpoints are right. So I'm going to show him and you guys, anybody else that is a newbie that has an 8T. And a lot of this will apply to any type of truggy or buggy that's out there. So let's get started, guys. Alright. So first thing I want to show you, ZACK, is we talked about the Lectron Pro Lifey battery. This is the Lectron Pro Lifey battery. I hope this is the one you picked up. Now, there's a couple of batteries. There's a reedy battery, which is this one. ZACK, always keep your lipos in a fireproof container. This is a fireproof safe. I keep them in. Usually I keep it locked, so if something happens it won't blow the top up. But let me show you these other two batteries and we'll go over them real quick. Hey, watch it. It's my wife. She's a good wife. She's making my lunch.
Spoiled brat.
But she's smoking that damn cigarette still.
Yeah, shut up.
Hey, there's I don't know where it went. The ice chest. You need one, right?
I don't know. I just put it in that lunchbox.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Okay, guys. So what we got here? We got 3 batteries. We have 2 Lifey packs right here. We got the reedy and the Lectron, and then we have a Lipo Venom pack. I hate this Lipo Venom pack. I used to like Venoms, and I still run a Venom in my LST, and we're going to check that out here in a minute too. But Lipo, you're only going to use this with high voltage, okay? So there's no high voltage on here, and ZACK, unless you paid 80 or 90 bucks today, then you got the standard. Probably, I'm not sure if they're high voltage. They might be, so I'm not sure. You're going to have to let me know which ones you got. But only use a LiPo receiver pack, which is 7.4 volt, with a LiPo servo. So yes, 7.4 volt LiPo with high voltage servos. Okay. Now, this Servos here, the SV0220, is, oh, where's the other one? Which one did I get? Oh, you know what? This one is. This is the one that was on A main, the $30, which they do claim as it being a high voltage. So you could use this on the SV0220 ZACK if that's the one you got, no problem. But what I recommend, and what I'm hoping you got, what I recommended to you was to get the Lectron Pro. This is a LiFi battery. The difference between a LiPo and a LiFi, LiPo can explode, catch on fire. Most newbies don't know how to charge their LiPo batteries correctly. Anytime you charge a LiPo and you use it, when you're done using it, you have to put it in storage mode before you put it up. And you do all that on your charger. So if you did get a LiPo, let me know and I'll teach you how to do the storage mode on it. But you have to, they're great batteries if you take care of them and if you charge and discharge and storage mode them correctly. So hopefully you got the LiFi. The LiFi is not as powerful, but pretty darn close at 6.6 volts. And these things, you can stab them, burn them, blow them up. They're not going to catch on fire. So LiFi is what I recommend. Both of these are LiFi batteries. But for the 8T specifically, you want to go with the Lectron Pro because the size difference. You can see the Reedy is a lot bigger than the LiFi battery. So there's a limited amount of space in the receiver battery compartment on the 8T. So even the Lectron is tight because you want to have some type of get a thin layer of something to put in there to cushion it. You don't want to run it in there without any cushion, but you don't want to put a thick styrofoam in there because it's not going to shut properly all the way. So the Reedy won't work. The Reedy will not work in the 8T, so don't even try it. You can get it on there and squish it down and it's okay. But if you want to use the Lectron, it will work. LiFi, my recommendation. But what you need to do is you need to get a Dremel, and on this cover, on the 8T receiver pack cover, there's going to be a little ledge right here. So you got to get a Dremel or some sandpaper or something, and you got to smooth down these ledges. I just used a Dremel and I smoothed down all these ledges that were on here without actually going through the top of the receiver cover. So show y'all how they fit in there. Bam, bam. Try and do this with one hand. Always make sure when you put all your wires in that they're not going to get pinched or broken, because that will affect it and can also burn it out. So I'm going to do this one-handed, guys. I'm also using, I do recommend the Sky RC switches. Get rid of that back and forth switch. Go online on eBay and get a Sky RC switch. It has a, if you do run LiPos, it's got a low voltage indicator on it. I'll show you. So right there you can go into normal, like LiFi mode or nickel metal hydrate. Or you can hold it in, and I don't know if it'll register. Yeah, it will. Okay, so now it should be in LiFi mode. I mean in LiPo mode. You're going to have this extra button, and if your voltage is low, this is going to light up red. It's going to indicate to you that you could have a runaway, that your LiPo, it has low voltage. So let's shut that off. I still have the screws in here, so it's still going to be a little bit tight, guys, but it will fit. It's hard with the screws. Right there, guys. So your LiFi pack, it's got the screws. That's why it's not setting all the way down. Let me just screw it in there real quick for you guys so you can actually see. You just have to mill out the top of this receiver box top. You'll see the ledges when you open it up. And just Dremel or sand those ledges down a little bit to give you a little extra room. Might be a little bit of a long video, guys, but it's from my boy ZACK. And there you go. Reedy LiFi pack installed in the 8T. You do not have to use a nickel metal hump pack. But if you're going to use a LiFi battery, Remember guys, you have to charge it the same way you do a LiPo battery. So what you would do on your charger is fire that bad boy up. Get on your selector, go down to battery type. Right there, find Lifey 2S, balance. It'll balance charge the same way that a LiPo does. And what I like about the Reedy is it's smaller, it fits in the 8T, and the Reedy's only a 1900 milliamp. The Lectron Lifey is a 2000 milliamp. And for you guys that don't know, a milliamp, also known as a mAh, M-A-H, H is your runtime, how long that battery will last. So the higher milliamp or mAh, M-A-H, the longer that battery is going to last. So the Lectrons are 2000 milliamp, so you would come down, put it on balance charge. Your current, your C current, 2000 milliamp is 2.0. If you had a 5000 milliamp, it would be 5.0. Always just move your decimal over, and that's where you are. 1900, 1.9. See, I have a nickel metal hydrate. This is for my TLR glow plug igniter, 3000 milliamp, 3.0. So y'all get the gist on that. Charge it the same way, and you have to plug in your balance lead here, just as you would a LiPo. Alright guys, so that's how you do the Lifey battery in the 8T. Great. Let's put these up. I never use this, and I have high voltage servos, y'all know. These are $90 servos here, high voltage, not those, high voltage on my Techno NT 48.3. You got Savox blacks, high voltage here, more Savox, high voltage on the Mugen. We're going to be running the Works B2 and the Mugen next. She's all ready to go. I've actually got the what is it? I forget. Anyway, I've got a vented bell on there. So let's check out the endpoints real quick. And Zach, I know what you were talking about when you damaged your A-arms. Same thing happened to me when I damaged it, the shock. I had to take this screw out, but when they did it at the factory, the screw was in there, and they stripped it and it would not unscrew. So I had to actually sacrifice one of the A-arms and one of these shock ends. You can buy all these shock parts. There's a package that comes with the shock ends, and I forget what all it comes with, but basically what I did is I just took a Dremel. I took the shock from up here, undid everything, and I took a Dremel with a little cutting wheel in there, and I cut the screw, and then I pushed it out with a screwdriver. I got it out. And then the other one I just kept turning with a pair of needle nose to get it out. So I actually could have used the other A-arm, but I didn't. I just went ahead and bought a new set of them. God knows I've replaced a lot of parts on here because I am a basher. Not a sissy basher, a basher. Okay, so we're not going to get into all that. So endpoints, and don't go on my endpoints, guys, because my endpoints on the 8T are a little screwed up. I got to work on them. But basically what you're going to do when you put new servos, first thing you're going to do is you're going to disconnect your throttle arm here from your carburetor slide. Okay? You're going to take this screw out right here. Don't lose these screws, put them back in. And then normally I'll go ahead and take this horn off right here. That way you can take the entire radio tray out. And the way you take that radio tray out is you undo those screws right there. It's let me see if I can point them out to you guys. I'm not sure if it's that one, but this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And then the whole radio tray will drop out. And then you can pull this out. Then you have access to take your servos out, your old ones, and put your new ones in. Take your covers off, run your leads through into your receiver right here. Okay, make sure none of those leads get pinched. They go down and they go through here and in through the back. So make sure none of those get pinched or anything like that. And once you get your new servos in, of course you're gonna when you take your servos out, you're gonna take both these horns off. Okay, so when you get your new servos in, get everything hooked up to your receiver. Put the radio tray back in. Reconnect the throttle arm horn here, but don't connect these yet. Okay. Turn on your radio. Turn on your receiver pack. Turn on your receiver. Okay. Make sure your endpoints are set. Let's see, I can show you on this one. By the way, guys, I got my new Futaba 4PK SR. Appreciate you, Elliot. Thank you very much. Came with 2 receivers. The receivers for these things are an arm and a leg. So they're high. But I was testing it out on the Techno and on the MB 48.4. I've already got it hooked up here. Yes, I do have a glitch protector hooked up still, steadfast. We're running the the R614FS. These things are, man, I saw them for like 140 bucks. I'm sure we can get them cheaper, but they're not cheap, man. And we have a different one over here. I don't know why Elliot gave me 2 different ones, because they run on 2 different RX channels. So if I want to run this one, I've got to run it on RX channel 1 in the system. And then if I want to run that one, I got to switch it to RX channel 2 in the system, which means I have to rebind it each one. I have to rebind it each time. So Elliot, if you're listening, I'd like another. You said you may have another smaller one. If you do, I'll trade you back this one for the smaller one, so I'm not having to rebind each time. But I will be buying a few more. It's going to be next month. Also, Nitro Freak, I've been so busy, man. Don't worry, I'm going to get you one of these Spectrum receivers to you. Just give me a little time. I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to make up some of this money I put out to go to training. But anyway, so you're gonna check your endpoints, and again, don't go by mine, guys. What you want to do is zero everything out. What I do is I take it to the halfway point on my steering and my throttle, just like that. Sometimes I'll take my throttle down a little bit on my braking, but I zero it all out. I turn on the radio. I turn on the truck, the receiver. That way your servos are going to zero out, okay? And then what you do is you straighten. Make sure your wheels are straight. Put your horn on, see where your horn lies with them being straight. You also want to make sure that you're straight here. So with the new 8T, with your 8T RTR, you have plastic turnbuckles, so that shouldn't be an issue. Those shouldn't move. These are adjustable, upgraded 4.0 turnbuckles, and we can do that later on, Zach. But for now, you have the plastic ones. This should be straight. So once your vehicle's turned on and your servos are zeroed out, lay these back down. If they're straight, great. Go ahead and put them on, screw them down. But if it's cockeyed a little bit, then you need to adjust this turnbuckle. You have this turnbuckle and you have this turnbuckle. This is actually not the right turnbuckle on mine because I broke the original one, so this one's a little short. That's why mine is off a little bit. So I need to replace that. Either that or I need to... No, what it is I broke the turnbuckle rod end there, and I put a shorter one. That's why it doesn't line up. But yours will line up. So if it's crooked when you put it on, just go ahead and adjust your turnbuckle until it's straight. Until this is straight and this is straight. Then put it on and you should be good to go. Same thing with your throttle and your brake. Get your throttle and your brake zeroed out with it turned on. It should be sitting pretty even like that. Mine's off. So it's sitting even like that. If the throttle Linkage is pulling the throttle out. Get your 1.5 millimeter, undo this little set screw, push the throttle linkage in until it closes, right? Mine's closed, till it closes, and then tighten it back up. Make sure everything's straight. Okay, go to put this servo horn on. If it's crooked like this one, adjust this turnbuckle until it's straight and then put it on. That's how you do your endpoints. Okay, you don't want anything stressing out. You want the most movement in both directions all the time. Now, if it's turning and it's turning real hard to the right, banging, like torquing on it, or the same to the left, then you go to your controller and you go into your travel. Okay, and then you find your steering. Bam, click on it. Click on it. And then go down to left and right, and you can adjust this up and down. So the farther down you go, the less it's going to turn one way or another. So when you turn it, what I'm saying is when you turn it all the way to the right, it shouldn't be pulling on this servo. It should be nice and gentle. It should turn all the way and stop without torquing this out. Same thing with your throttle. If you're hitting your brakes and it's pulling your radio tray like whack, 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 then you need to back off on your travel a little bit so it's nice and smooth. If you do that and you don't have good brakes, then you need to pull your center diff out, and you can get to that the same way on those screws on the bottom. Undo the screws. You're going to have to move some of this other stuff, undo your linkage, pull this out, and then you've got screws on your brake disc over here. You tighten them up. You should tighten them up to where there's not very much play at all, but still turns freely. So some guys do that differently too. I tighten mine all the way up till it touches and it still spins freely. That way you can have minimal travel, so you're not torquing that out. If it's pulling on this, imagine what it's doing to your gears and your bearing in here in your servo. That's how a lot of servos go out all the time, guys, because they don't have their endpoints and their travel set properly, and they're just torquing on it, and it's tearing up those bearings and those gears inside. So just like I said, make sure that you turn your radio on, turn your car on, take these off, zero everything out. Okay, if it sets down on there like that's no good. This thing should be sitting like that. Okay, and then this should be straight too, and you do all that adjustment by this turnbuckle and this turnbuckle. Okay, you got that, Zach? So I don't know what else you're upgrading. I will say some things later on for bashing like we do. Good upgrades for you. Let me just go everything that I upgraded on mine. This is a King Heads. You can find it on A-Main. Rear chassis brace. Replaces the stock plastic one for more rigidity. There is a front King Heads chassis brace. Same thing. This is a TLR top aluminum chassis plate. You're doing away with the plastic here, the plastic here, the plastic here. Okay? Now I went way overboard. I swapped out for the 4.0 diffs, which are 4 planetary gear diffs. You can find those on RC Waffle. A lot of times they have them in complete. So I still take them apart. I still took this one apart I got from RC Waffle. It's got all brand new pinion and ring gears. It's good to go through RC Waffle, guys, because just the ring and pinion... shit. Doesn't work anymore. No. I've got front and rear spares. Just the ring and pinion. Let me see if I can show you. Let me pull this down too. This could go into play too. Where is it? Ring and pinion? I think it's over here. Okay. Alright. So these are the stock. That was the stock plastic chassis brace, and that's the stock plastic chassis brace that I replaced. Here it is. Alright, so here is, if you tried to do this ring and pinion, this rear 4.0 diff on your own, you're going to have to get the ring and pinion gear set for the 8T 3.0. Because remember guys, the RTR version is closer to a TLR 3.0 kit. Not the 4.0 kit, but some 4.0 items will work on here. They're interchangeable. Now look what this ring and pinion gear set, just for the gear and the pinion, was $43.99. Okay? This one's brand new. It doesn't look like it. I took it out of the truck. This is an actual spare. It's a third set of ring and pinion for the rear of my 8T 3.0. But for $45, $50, you can get the entire, I got this entire 4.0 rear differential, which is intermingle. The 4.0, 3.0, they all fit in the 8T, the RTR. So that is an upgrade you can do later on, Zach. You don't have to do it right away, but knowing you, you're probably going to do it right away. So when you get ready, let me know. I'll school you on that. I've also got, like I told you, this is your outerwear from this company right here, Outerwears. You always want to have an outerwear on your filter. It's extra protection from dirt and dust. You don't want to get any dirt and dust down in your carburetor, guys. I upgraded the shock towers. These are the aftermarket ones. They're okay. I don't suggest them. I suggest spending the $40 for the front and the $40 for the rear and get the real TLR shock towers if you're going to do that. Now I bash really hard, as y'all know. I put my stuff in the air, so the stock ones, I trash them right away. And I've actually bent these already last time when I ripped that rear A-arm off. So I said I wasn't going to do any more upgrades on this AT. I said I was done, but I may go ahead and get those. You could also get the 4.0 chassis, which I haven't had any issues with my chassis here. Now what I have done, guys, is I did the TLR front and rear hinge pin holders. So the ones that come on the 8T are plastic and they will break when you hit something. I broke a bunch of them. That's why I upgraded to the TLR or Losi aluminum hinge pin holders. You've got the front and the rear. Now these weren't cheap either, guys. These rears, these TLR rears, they're low center gravity, the LLRCs. These were like $50, man, for this set. Might have even been $60 for this set. The fronts weren't as expensive. They were about $40. But I do suggest you doing these hinge pin holders, because the plastic ones, for us guys that really bash our stuff, not just run back and forth in a field like a big baby, we need this, because this will take a toll. It will break. Continue to use your Losi clutch on this. Losi clutch, I think, is probably one of the best clutches for a truggy out there. And not just for Losi. Use them on other truggies. I use them on my what you call it? My Techno. So, also, guys, something else that is a good upgrade. Bam! Sumo skid plates. Sumo skid plates. They're only like $17 for the 8T. Sumo, S-U-M, I think it's S-U-M-O or S-U-M-M-O, I'm not sure, skid plates. I think they're better than the DE Racing, although the DE Racings are cheaper and you'll come with a couple of replacement sets. But these aluminum skid plates on here from Sumo, they're bad to the bone. I've got them on just about all my whips. The only one I don't have them on is here. I've got them on the MB 48.4. And I've got them on the NT 48.3. Right there. Alright. So, and I've got some new A-arms coming for the front of the Techno here. Turn that off. Alright, so Sumo skid plates. Now, Zach, when you do get ready to get adjustable, and I suggest you do this too, man. Adjustable, these are the 4.0 turnbuckles. Now you've got 2 sets of 108 millimeter, and you can get these from Nitro House, guys. Nitro House has these setups. I was having a hard time finding them, but my brother, Nitro brother, Drew. Yes, Drew, I still remember you, brother, even though you don't put anything out and you don't like me. But I still appreciate everything that you did for me, Drew. So, Drew hooked me up, told me Nitro House. The rears are, actually, let's see, how was it? Okay. These top ones, not the steering turnbuckles, but these ones on top, they're 108 millimeters, both sides. And then these steering turnbuckles, 107 millimeters. And then the rears are 107 millimeters. Okay, so you need one set of 108 millimeter 4.0 turnbuckles, and it'll come with the ends and the balls and everything. And then you need 2 sets of 107 millimeter, and it will come with everything you need as well. Okay, so I just did it one at a time. I took one side off, put the new one on, so that way I knew exactly where I was when I took the old one off. I just did one at a time. That way I could look at the other one and see which holes they were in. It made it a lot easier. I had upgraded my shocks to some aftermarket 4.0 shocks. Worst thing I ever did. They were trash. They were no good. And so I took John Bodigel's advice. Shout out Mr. Bodigel. And I stuck with the original RTR shocks. I only had one problem back here, but my brother Elliot told me how to alleviate it. It kept pulling the shock shaft out, the screw out of it. So it wasn't that it was stripped. It was that I needed to clean the threads on the inside of the shock shaft, because there's a little screw that goes down over the grommet. So you clean those threads out. Clean the screw really good. Put some Loctite, and then put it down in there and let it dry overnight. I haven't had a problem since. I mean, obviously, when I ripped the rear A-arm off, it pulled the shock apart at that point too. But just normal bashing and stuff, I haven't had any issues at all. So, alright, so the last, okay, well, there's another one, alright. So I upgraded from my stock spur gear. We went to, I think I've got the 50 tooth lightened spur gear. So the difference between a regular and a lightened spur gear, a regular spur gear is going to be solid. This is a lightened one. Less rotating mass and lighter. It's got the holes in it. So center diff, 50T spur gear, lightweight. It was almost 40 bucks, people. Not cheap. But I've got the 51, the 50, and the 48. I've got the 50 in there right now. Now, if you go up to the 48 with the RT, I don't know about the TLR. It may already be set up like that. But if you go to a 51 spur, you can do that. But you have to get this center diff mount and shock tool 8T 4.0. And the reason you have to do that, what this is they got shock tools in here, but what it has is this top plate right here, which is this plate right here. And underneath there, underneath these center diff carriers, are these shims. I don't want to open this, but see that shim right there? Right there. These shims go underneath this center diff mount, and it brings it up a little bit. If you don't get this for the 8T, I don't know about any others, for the 8T RTR, you have to get this and use those shims in order to run the 51 tooth spur. Now, I don't know, the race kit may already come set up that way, but the 8T, if you put it all together, put the 51 in there and drop it down, it's gonna hit the chassis. You have to put those shims in there. Shimming's a whole nother deal. Took me about a month to figure out shimming these diffs, man, but I got it finally, thanks to my brothers, Family Affair, and a lot of other guys. I think Everyday RC, I watched his video. You ever have any issues with shimming your diffs on a 4.0, go watch Everyday RC on his kit build. He'll show you a lot of things, teach you a lot of things. So, alright guys, next upgrade that I did on my RTR is I got rid of the pull start. Okay, I think the first one I put in here was the Losi Rex 28.8. So, in order to do away with the pull start, you have to buy, and I don't think I have the original mounts right here. I'll show y'all. What's that? I have the original mounts here. Which one? These right here. Okay, so this is the original mount that comes with the AT. This is what they use for the pull start because they have to bring it up a little bit higher. So if you use get rid of the pull start and you want to use a bump box right here. Took me about a week or so to learn how to use it. Now I fire them up pretty much on the first push, but you got to make sure you line it up without the engine in and all that. That's a whole nother video. Zach, you want to get into that? I'll teach you that as well. But you have to get the TLR 4.0 engine mounts. They're lower and it brings the engine down lower, so you can use a bump box because your flywheel is here on the bottom and the wheel from the bump box has to be able to hit that flywheel right there. And if you're using the original 8T ones, it's going to be too high unless you're using like a 36 millimeter, like the Howvi, like the Hyper 7, that big fat three shoe clutch flywheel, maybe, but it might hit, I don't know. So we upgraded the engine, okay, but you got to get these mounts, man. And you guys that are out there already know this. Don't worry about it. This is mainly for Zach. Any other newbies that have the 8T RTR, these are some of the upgrades you can do. Now you don't have to do any of this really. I would suggest the servos, yes. I would suggest the turnbuckles, yes. Other than that, guys, man, it's going to be a solid basher just like that. But if you want to make it more durable, put more power to the ground, just all around better, closer to a race kit. It will never be a race kit, but you can get it closer. I also use the Techno wing on here. I don't use the 8T wing. I think that's, yeah, I've got the Techno wing on all my whips. I've got the Techno on my 8T, got it on my Hyper 7, got it on the Techno obviously, but I've also got the Techno wing on the Mugen over here. So there's some things you can do. These mud guards, they're DE Racing. I recommend these so you're not getting a lot of debris back here on your rear drive shafts. Man, other than that, guys, you know, if you upgrade your engine, you do your motor mounts and all that, you get you a bump box, get a better pipe, do away with the coupler. I know your 8T, it's got the rubber coupler here. You can get you a nice, this isn't 9886, this is the 51020 and the 41021 header. But if you're going to upgrade to, say, a Losi Truggy 28.8, you want to get a 41032 header. And I'll show you that. 41032 header and a 9886 pipe Losi, which is this setup right here. It's best for big blocks, 28s and up, stock or modded. They really benefit on a modded engine. I need to clean these pipes too. By the way, if you get a pipe, Zach, and you guys out there, you new guys, you have these polished pipes right here, Blue Magic polished cream, best stuff ever, man. Works great. Shout out to that baby bump jumper for that. You know who that is. But 41032 header, 9886 pipe, Losi Rex Legend 28.8. I don't know if you can get these anymore. I don't know if they're going to come out. I heard that we were going to get some out pretty soon, but I'm not sure. So, there's a whole lot of other things, Zach. Oh, one more thing, buddy. What you want to do is you want to get away from this. These are brand new. I've hardly even used them. These are the stock 8T truggy wheels and tires right here. Okay, they're okay, man. They balloon a lot. They're all right. They're good to start out. But if you want next level and you want to upgrade to a better bad to the bone rim and tire, this is called a DE racing rim. It's a 4-inch rim. You can still get them, I think, on A-Main. And these are 3/8-inch Badland tires. Okay? They're Proline, made by Proline, and they're Badlands. They are the Basher's Choice for Truggy. They're the Basher's Choice for Buggy, too, because I have a set right here. Brand new for the Buggy, but they're on Proline rims with Badlands. I think these did not come pre-mounted. I actually bought these separate over at RCHQ. By the way, shout out Elliot. Smoking deal on this, man. 2 receivers. Bad to the bone. I got to get a 2S LiPo for it. I've been using my Lectron Lifey 2000 milliamp just to set this. I set this one up, all my endpoints and everything on there. She's ready to go. And I set the endpoints up on here. But like I said, I had to switch in between those 2 RX channels, 1 and 2. But I need to get me one before I can actually go out and use it and run. I mean, I guess I could tape the hump pack in there, but I'm not going to do all that. It's just money's really tight right now, guys. Did I put that back in there? Yeah. Money's tight, so trying to make some money first before I start spending some money. But shout out Elliot, man. Finally got me a Futaba. I'm not a racer, man, but I got a quality Futaba. It's a 4PK SR, Super R. Super, yeah, 4PK Super R, so 4PK SR, bad to the bone controller, man. Thank you, Elliot. If you do upgrade to a Techno or something like that, and you guys that have these LSTs right here, motor savers, filter, and outerwear for the motor savers. But definitely, Zach, you can get it motor savers or you can get it outerwears. You need this for your filter. You got to order it. Go on. I just got mine from outerwears. So you can just go on outerwears. Either one, motor savers or outerwears. They both sell the same thing for the 4.0 is what you're looking for. And I think that's about it. If you have any more questions, Zach, or anybody has any more questions about setting the endpoints on here or milling out the top of your receiver box to fit the Lectron Pro, that Lectron Pro runs about $35, but it's so much better than the nickel metal hydrate hump pack. I've never used these hump packs anymore. I got some in here. This is the one I think that came with your 8T, either that one or that one of the two. You're welcome to these. I don't want them. I'll forever use Lifey batteries. Alright guys, so one more thing I want to show y'all before I go. And shout out to my brother David RC. I'm going to get one of these in the mail to you. Again, just like Nitro Freak, guys. Please forgive me, man. I just haven't had time to get these things done. I'll get your receiver to you, Nitro Freak. And I'm going to send one of these to you, David RC, so you can try it out on your LST. It's best with a 9886, but my 9886 are taken up right now. I've got 3 of them, and they're all sitting on engines. This is a Works. I got the B5 Works with the Works pipe. Heck yeah. It's going to scream. We haven't run this one in a while. I may run this one again here pretty soon. I was thinking about putting this in the Techno Buggy, man. Or maybe even the Hyper 7. This is a modified Pico Boost 0.28. It's modified by Power Secrets with AMR lightened internals. Bad to the bone. It's got about a gallon on it. She's a beast. She's still in break-in process. And you can see I'm running my Losi clutch. Trying to get some of these set up so they're ready to go. It's P5 limited edition. It's got about gallon and a half on it. I got a lot of brand new motors, guys. I got another P5 in here, the black edition, that eventually, if I ever get any money, I'm going to have it modified. But and I got a couple more 28s over there. But yeah, anyway, Zach, if you have any more questions or anything like that, just keep referring back to this video, man, on how to do those endpoints. You know, you can pause it and then, you know, fast forward, whatever you got to do. But just basically turn your radio on, pop these off. But for sure, don't try to put your servos in here without taking your radio tray out, guy. You got to take this radio tray out, man. Okay? But when you put the servos in, run your wires, put everything back in, leave these horns off, fire it up, make sure everything's centered out on the controller, see where they sit. If they're cockeyed, adjust these turnbuckles until everything is straight. And then you're good. Then adjust your travel so you're not torquing out on these servos in your radio tray. When I first learned how to do this, I had my brakes so tight because these were loose. The brake pads, I didn't have them tightened down well enough. So I had to get my travel way out, and it was just pulling the box over and jerking on the servos. You can't do that. You got to lighten it all up, man. Tighten up these screws, but still make sure it spins, you know. Still make sure it spins. And then adjust your travel until it stops good, but is soft on everything. Okay? So that's about it, guys. That's all we're going to do tonight as far as the video. Hopefully Sunday we're going to do, 46 minutes. Holy crap. There you go, Zach. Fast forward, rewind. If you have any questions, get back to me, man. And I'm not sure if I can hook up with you this Sunday, man. I've been killing it at work, making a lot of money. Now we got to do the jobs to make the money. I'm not going to do the jobs. They're going to do them. But I don't get paid until the jobs are done. Most of them are at the end of the month. But once that is done, we're going to start doing some more RC stuff, buying some more parts, engines, things like that, some upgrades. And we'll get together and do some bashing. But it's probably not going to be this Sunday. I was hoping to, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I just got so much going on. So anyway, guys, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Big Jeff. Shout out to Big Charlie, man. Y'all are always commenting on my stuff. Island Duke. Eugene RC. Eugene Nitro. I did watch your video, man. I'm looking forward to your AT. You can benefit from this video, too, on this AT RTR Nitro, Eugene. So if you have any questions, you need any help, brother, you know you can come to me. As you know, Bodegel was checking out your channel and your video. You can always reach out to Mr. Bodegel. I'm sure he'd be glad to help you as well, man. So, alright, family affair, David RC, everybody else. It's good to talk to you guys, man. And I'm going to get to wrenching on some of my own stuff. We got to get this Hyper 7 put back. We're almost done getting everything back together. Yeah, buddy. No more strip bell. So, and Nitro Nerd, you know, we'll talk to you pretty soon. I think you had some ideas on why that was happening, that it wasn't the chassis brace. So if you can get back to me on that, would be great, sir. I appreciate you. And that's it, guys. So, till the next video, shout out to my brother Elliot. Futaba, baby. Yeah. You guys don't even want to know what I got this for, man. I know it's a couple of years old, but, I mean, this thing costs almost $500 brand new. It's the real deal, man. Race radio. So, but I still got this one. I actually already sold my DX5C. I've got a few more receivers to buy before I can let any go, but I do have one for you, Nitro Freak, for sure. And I got your address and everything, so we'll kick it over to you as soon as I can. Oh, and what we're talking about, David RC. So what I did is I got those three. This is a 41015 on-road conical header. Learned this from Everyday RC and Mr. John Bodegel. Now I'm using an 053 on here. That's what I was saying. My 9886 are dedicated right now. But we got the 053 pipe dynamite with the 41015 conical header. We're going to see what that does. The original header is here. It's that roller coaster LST header, and you will not find this header anywhere. Anybody needs this header, I'll sell it to you for $1 million. No, I'm just kidding. I won't let it go. Give me $1 million, I'll let you have it. But this one, it wasn't polished. It was black, and I deanodized it and I polished it up. But we're gonna see about this. I always wanted to do this from like 4 years ago when Bodegel and Everyday and Average Joe Nitro and all those guys were doing this, man. So I'm psyched up to get this thing fired up. Now, you know, we're not gonna run this thing a lot. This is a shelf queen. She sits. I rebuilt her. This is the 9th LST I rebuilt. I've gotten rid of all my other ones. When I get caught up, David, RC, I will want my other one back, so please hold on to it. But this one has been restored as well, and we're rocking the dynamite. I put the pull start and the one-way bearing back in it. Everything's brand new in here. All your gears, transmission, radio box, servos, linkage, A-arms, shocks, 20 millimeter axle stubs with 17 millimeter hex adapters, bumpers, wing mount, the wing, bumpers. Everything on this truck is brand new. All your parts, your plates, chassis plates, the whole thing. And a set of brand new Big Joes that I bought before I went out of town for training for 60 bucks. I bought this set of Big Joes, brand new, never been used. So alright guys, I'm rambling on. It's going to be an hour-long video. Check it out. Hope this helps out some of you AT guys. I love all y'all. Remember, treat people the way you want to be treated. Shout out Corey, TTR Racing. Little Chilly, shout out. See y'all later.